What's up, guys? A long time no see. I have actually been playing a fair amount recently, but on my laptop where I haven't been recording. And I actually do have some games queued up there. It's just a little bit harder to record there. Not as luxurious as my regular desktop setup. But I just played some games here, and one of these games was actually quite good. I was playing against a guy named Neon Shot, and I haven't really produced any videos since the update to 1v1 Commander. I can actually happily take a sizable portion of credit for the way that the format changed a couple weeks ago. Roughly 2 to 3 months ago, I drove down to Wizards of the Coast and had a long conversation with Brian Hawley, who is the current curator of the format, about ways that the format could be saved, because I had felt that a steady set of roughly 40 bannings or something had reduced Commander format down to a horrible semblance of tiny leaders with partners run amok and a ridiculous ban list, and basically it was just incredibly linear and incredibly unfun. He actually did a pretty good job of summarizing the fundamental issues with the format in his post, where he reintroduced the second coming of 1v1 Commander Online. But I had a big part in formulating that list. I don't know, I may talk about it at length more about what stuff they actually wanted to do with it. But we sort of struck a compromise on it. I feel like I got some things into the format, like one of them front and center here, Mystical Tutor, is a kind of a fixture of the format, as are all the good tutors, and I was very, very happy to get those back into the format. And we were able to raise the power level of the format a great deal to bring it much more in line with the multiplayer list. I still feel like there are a couple of things that don't really make any sense. I don't like Grizzlebrand in the format really as a commander. I think it's just totally stupid and broken. I really don't like Strip Mine being a banned card. I think that compared to some of the other stuff that's legal, it doesn't make any sense. And certainly I think that some of the creature hosers like Humility and Moat should be accessible to the color white, which is already so weak to begin with. And I really think that Winter Orb belongs as well. I think that with this much artifact mana in the format, Winter Orb is a situational card at best and requires a great deal of skill to employ correctly to win with. And based on that, I think it should be a tool that decks get to use. But no format is perfect, and I think that this current 1v1 format is a huge, huge step up from where it was before, which was basically just unplayable garbage that nobody really enjoyed, and certainly not me. Anyway, I actually am playing the 1v1 Commander format, so I'm playing my Nin deck with just a few modifications. I removed Strip Mine, Divining Top, and Baral, and in place of that, I've put just a handful of decent effects. The deck's now running main deck Abrade. I'll search it on a couple turns in here, and I'll be able to point out the other cards that have changed about the deck. I really, really want to put Spellseeker into the deck, but unfortunately they haven't released Battle Bond Online yet. So as soon as that happens, I'll have Spellseeker in the deck as well. And anyway, here we go. I'm up against seldom-seen Tariel, Reckoner of Souls. It's a pretty cool creature. It's certainly strong for 7 mana, but as a 7-mana commander, you don't really expect it to come online until pretty late in the game. But Black, Red, White has tons of good options as far as its removal suite and stuff. It's got a lot of good utility, good card advantage. It's not the worst color combo. Not playing with blue is obviously puts you at a deficit, especially now that blue has been strengthened so much. But what can you do? You know, you can't always play a blue commander. I've got a very, very borderline keepable hand, but I don't really know what I'm up against. And the presence of Ponder as well as Mox Opal and Velikan Shackles gives me confidence. Plus, I really, really like having War of Invention in my hand. Such a good card, again, with Soul Ring and Mana Crypt available. So I'm going to keep this. I've also got Mystical Tutor to get an emergency Brainstorm if my deck doesn't yield anything. But I feel like this is probably better than a random 6-card hand. And I get to draw first, draw for my turn as well, so that'll help. He plays Nomad Outpost. And off we go. Cryptic Command. Alright, not the card I want to see. And unfortunately I have to just, I'm usually loath to just sack a fetch land this early, but I have to ponder right now. And hope to get a dual land on top or just a basic land. And sure enough, there's Abrade, which is one of the cards I've added, and Flooded Strand. So I'm going to throw the Disallow 2 down, since that's totally useless, put the Abrade second from the top, and draw the Flooded Strand. And I'll certainly sack the Flooded Strand before I draw the 3-mana thing I can't cast. Alright, back to Neon Shot's turn. Godless Shrine. I fully expect him to be probably playing a Signet or something here. And instead he has Sinkhole. That is brutal. Ugh, and I know I'm not drawing a land next turn. So remember what I said about that emergency Brainstorm backup plan. I think that is about to have to be deployed here. At least he can't kill a Flooded Strand. So I see Sinkhole on turn 2. It really makes me think he's playing some sort of main deck LD. I guess he mulliganed too, because he's only got 4 cards in hand. Goes up to 5. Temple of Triumph. Okay, not bad. Alright, I'm not going to even dick around. I'm not going to fetch here and just hope to get lucky. I'm just going to Mystical Tutor right now. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to... Well, you'll get to see it in a second. So I'm Mystical Tutoring. Let me take a look at the deck real quick here, and I can see what other things I've changed. What jumps out? These are all standard. All standard as well. Myriad Landscape replaced the Strip Mine. I'm just testing that out. I brought in Karn, Sign of Urza. That's been in here for a little while. Very, very happy with it in the deck, as it has a lot, very high density of artifacts, and the card is just crazy in general. And, nothing's really leaping out of me here as far as a card. Oh, there it is, Chrome Mox. I also put Chrome Mox in. So I removed Top and Baral and the land, and I added Chrome Mox, a Braid, and finally the Myriad Landscape in place of that. I'm not entirely convinced that any one of those 3 is right. I'm pretty sure that a Braid belongs because the card is just so flexible and good, and you really can't get enough artifact kill. But I think that Myriad Landscape may prove to be too slow. It may just be better off being another basic island. I've certainly drawn it plenty of times and haven't really wanted to play it very often, so that's the sign of something that should probably be changed. Maybe if I can figure out a good blue-red dual land to use as well. Not going to play a come-into-play tap land. Possibly Boilerworks. Now that Strip Mine is restricted, it may make Boilerworks worth it. Yeah, I kind of feel like that would actually make the most sense, right? Since Myriad Landscape makes 2 mana, but over a very roundabout way, and the Boilerworks immediately makes 2 mana. I think I'm going to try that out, actually. There's only one Wasteland in the format, so it makes the bounces a lot stronger. I think that actually is a very reasonable choice. Anyway, I'm going to go fetch Brainstorm here. That's kind of a no-brainer. It's the only thing I can cast. And I really need to draw land here. I'm probably going to lose next turn. And God, what an incredible 3 cards to get. That is insane. A land, a Mox Diamond, a Chrome Mox to go with my Mox Hope. I'm literally putting 3 mana into play on this turn because of that crazy Brainstorm. So it's just a matter of figuring out what I want to put back, and that's going to be Shackles and probably a Braid. Shackles 1 below, a Braid above that, and I have to play the Mox Diamond because I need to put 3 artifacts into play. So regrettably, I can't reshuffle. I have to use the Polluted Delta to play the Mox Diamond. So those 3 are coming down. There they all are. So I have the ability to dissolve the very next thing that he does here, and whir for probably Mana Crypt if he does nothing on his next turn. So not the worst board position. That was insanely lucky off the Brainstorm, I gotta say. I could not have really asked for better. So hopefully his turn 4 play is not something that I have to deal with. We'll see. I'd really like to whir for Soul Ring. I mean whir for Mana Crypt, and then I can actually play Nin and protect it with Dissolve, which may get me right back into this game. Alright, plays a Scalding Tarn. 4 mana. Rakdos's Return. Nasty. That's pretty sick. Pretty nasty, actually. This thing's pretty intense that it kills Planeswalkers too. Obviously, I'm going to dissolve this. That'll allow me to scry away the Abrade, which I'd love to hang on to, but there's no immediate target for it. Shackles really isn't much better. And in retrospect, I probably should have reversed the order of those 2 cards. Put Shackles on top so I could scry it away and at least draw the Abrade, because it's more likely to be useful, I think, against a deck like the one he's playing. I'm miles away from being able to steal his commander with it. So now I have to draw the Veldican Shackles. I guess I could have just whirred during upkeep here, which would not have been the worst thing in the world. And in retrospect, that probably would have been the right play. But instead, I just draw the Shackles and feel a little foolish, since I'm planning to whir anyway. All right, I really, really need him to not do much of anything here. Oops, let's close that. All right. All right, and he just passes completely, which means he must have a handful of just removal. So I cast Whir of Invention here, and my hope here is that he doesn't have something like the 2/1 flyer that prevents you from searching your library, which would totally wreck me. And it works, which means I get to go get Soul Ring. I'll go put that into play. Karn Liberated. Wow, that is a hell of a draw. It would have been pretty amazing to draw the other Karn here, actually. The Scion of Urza, I would have been able to just immediately make a 5/5 creature. But this is pretty damn good, actually. And if I can just draw one more mana, I can start crushing his hand with it. I'm going to play Nin here. I fully expect that this will die. And I'm playing the Veldican Shackles here, not because I expect it to really do anything. And I'm obviously playing completely into a card like Vandal Blast, or even Shattering Spree, given that he could probably cast for 4 targets. But I feel at this point, if he does have a card like Vandal Blast or Austere Command or something, I basically just lose the game anyway, even if I don't play the Shackles. So no harm in just putting it out there anyway, just in case he does in fact have a small creature. He sacks it into turn, gets Blood Crypt. Yeah, he could Shattering Spree for 4 if he is in fact playing that, or By Force for 4. Alright, still does not have a land, and he casts Golden Demise. Bit of a strange card, but I guess the idea is you can just sweep away small creatures with that. Not that you'd ever expect to have City's Blessing, and that certainly deals with Nin for a turn. Alright, come on, deck. Draw land. Really want to just put Karn out here and wreck him with it. Fabricate. Alright, well that's excellent. Bunch of different good choices here. I'll give you guys a second to think about what I might be wanting to get among this bevy of artifacts here. And again, lots of good choice. I could get a Metamorph to copy my Soul Ring, which wouldn't be bad. Gilded Lotus next turn would be awesome. If I play, if I get Mana Crypt, I can immediately replay Nin the Pain Artist. But after some consideration, the card that seemed the most obvious to me is the safest play, which is Crucible of Worlds. I get immediate value out of it. I've got a loaded graveyard with tons of lands. He doesn't have any way of getting rid of the graveyard right now. And if I were to get lucky and find Expedition Map or one of the tutors that would allow me to, I should say, one of the ways to cast a Fabricate from the graveyard, like with if I were to get Snapcaster Mage or one of the tutors that gets it, like Muddle the Mixture, I could Muddle the Mixture back into Fabricate, get Expedition Map, and go to work on his lands with Wasteland. But in the meantime, I just get to play lands from the graveyard here and feel pretty good. He pays 3 mana and casts Painful Truths. Ow, this is painful for me. Up to 6 cards in hand. Then he plays Anvil of Bogarden. Weird. Well, the only reason I can imagine he has this card in his hand or in his deck is because he's also playing with its twin, the Chains of Mephistopheles, which says that basically before you draw anything but your first card for the turn, you have to discard a card. And so the way it works with Anvil, of course, is that you draw your draw step card. Actually, at the beginning of your draw step, you draw an additional card and then discard. So you have to discard in advance of the Anvil triggering. Then you draw a card from the Anvil, and then you draw your other card for the turn, and you have to discard in advance of that. And basically, the Anvil of Bogarden grinds both players' hands down to nothing. And at that point, neither player gets a draw step, and it's pretty disgusting interaction. That's the only reason I can imagine he's playing with this card. But regardless, and it's really nice getting an island there too off the Anvil, because I don't have to, I can throw it away without having to worry. And I got a Treachery now to protect me from his commander, which is phenomenal. Alright, well, time to put the Karn on him. So he just drew 3. It's very likely that his hand doesn't have anything, has a few dead cards in it, and I gave quite a bit of thought here to actually killing the Anvil of Bogarden, because that is a way for him to actually kill me by getting my hand size down to 0, and I never have a draw step again, although I do have the commander numerous times, and Crucible of Worlds to continuously recast it if I were to get in some horrible situation like that. So I gave some thought to killing the Anvil of Bogarden, especially because I don't want him cycling, but at the end of the day I felt that 10 counters on this thing might be more useful, because if I go to 3, he can just trivially burn Karn away with a million different effects, and with that in mind, I'd rather get it up to 10 counters. So I use it on him. He exiles Toxic Deluge, which is a way to kill Nin. So can't feel too bad about that no matter what happens to Karn. So back on Neon Shot's turn, he draws. And throws away Blightning. So there, right there is 3 damage. So you could just deal 3 damage to the Karn if I'd used it right there. It's interesting that he throws it away, but I guess he figures I only have 1 card, it's not really that useful, and then he's got Ruinous Path to take out Karn. That's fine. Down to 4 cards in hand. He still hasn't found even a 6th land. And I'm, well, getting land every turn. I'm going to be able to... Oh, awesome. I get Forbid right off the top. And now I get to... I have to throw away 1 card, which is obviously going to be the Grim Monolith. Play a land from the graveyard and play Nin with Forbid backup. Suddenly feeling really, really different in this game. A few turns ago it looked really bleak. Alright, so he's Anvil of Bogardening again. Solemn Simulacrum. Interesting choice to throw away given the fact that he's still light on land. Plays a Night's Whisper. Finally hits a 4th mana. Or a 6th land, actually. He finally gets a land drop. Alright, this is looking really good. He did not kill Nin. Fact or fiction? Come on, land. Damn, counterspell. Alright, well, Treachery, honestly, would have been useful a while back, but now that I've got 4 islands and a 5th one coming online here due to the Crucible, I know that the Shackles can steal his commander, and I haven't seen any other creatures from him, so with that in mind, I feel like I can safely throw away the Treachery, keep the Fact or fiction, because it's valuable. Play another land here. And now I've got active Nin and a boatload of mana, like 10. Now he's going to force his hand here. Hopefully he's got a sorcery speed thing that kills Nin. And there he's got an instant speed thing that kills Nin. I think that this is a little bit silly to do given the fact that I can just respond by drawing cards. But he doesn't know what my hand is. And given the fact that he's got 6 mana available, potentially 7 next turn, I decide that as much as I'd like to draw 5 here and leave just, I could even draw 6 actually, and leave just 2 mana open for my counterspell. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I could draw 6. I elect instead to just take the safe route here and just draw 3. With the intention of being able to Fact or Fiction next turn and having at least the ability to double counterspell on his turn, given that his hand size is relatively small. Vandal Blast, Trinket Mage, Mana Leak. Really, really solid set of 3 here. He gets a Sacred Foundry at the end of the turn. He's got a discard. Throws away Shizo, Death Storehouse. Alright, tapping a bunch of mana. Austere Command. Yeah, no. That's getting countered. Yeah, I don't think I want 6 of my artifacts destroyed. That would be pretty bad. Lovely to have a mana leak for that. He plays a Hall of the Bandit Warlord, or Bandit Lord. Gladly, this is not the other one. The one that, the name eludes me, but it's one that makes your spells uncounterable. Pretty sick card with a card like Austere Command would just be decisive. Unfortunately, I can't cast Fact or Fiction at the end of the turn, but that's quite alright. Oh, wow. Tezzeret the Seeker. Amazing card to get right now. I'm going to throw away the Vandal Blast. I have no intention of killing Anvil or Bogarde, and the rest of my hand is really good. I guess I could have thrown away Fact or Fiction, I suppose, and just blown up the Vandal, or blown up the Anvil, just to cut down on his options. But I'm feeling pretty secure with Snapcaster Mage as well as 2 extra counters. So think about the mana here for a bit. I'm going to play Trinket Mage just to go get Mana Crypt to increase the artifact count here, since he practically is free. Play Tezzeret the Seeker and untap 2 blue sources. I have enough mana to, and I get another land out of the graveyard. So I have enough to counter twice here. I can counterspell Forbid, which is pretty damn good. Counterspell Forbid. Nah, I guess I can't do that. But I got enough mana to Snapcaster and Forbid and counterspell, which is pretty awesome. Alright, he's got one more turn here. Throws away Hammerheim. Plays a Vindicate, targeting my Tezzeret the Seeker, obviously. I'm just going to counterspell that. And then in response, he casts Kolaghan's Command to destroy the Shackles and deal, with the intention, obviously, of dealing 2 damage to Tezzeret to keep himself from dying. And I can trivially cast Snapcaster Mage, Mana Leak that, and seeing the damage that's incoming, that's 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That's 39 damage coming at him next turn, and I still have the Forbid backup. And with the writing on the wall, Mr. Neon Shot scoops it up. And the Nin deck takes a game. Yeah, I just thought this was a really, really cool game. Certainly beaten down early with the way that the Sinkhole killed my first land and had me really, really punished from keeping a 1-lander. But I managed to get just the right sequence of cards, counterspells at exactly the right time, and a few judgment calls that really wound up turning out in my favor. I intend to be playing a bunch more of this 1v1 Commander deck in the days ahead. I know that Nate is innovating with Breya right now, and has probably been publishing videos for that. I'm going to stick with Nin for the time being, so I can at least determine whether or not this deck is type tier or top tier in the current format, and let you guys know how that goes. But I hope you enjoyed the game, and I will see you soon. Take care.